Salakia. Um, so it says, it says, it alleged that the executive exploited his access to non-public and or proprietary internet data and tasked researchers at an unnamed U.S. university to mine internet data so as to create and influence a narrative linking Trump to Russia. The executives claim to be working to please certain VIPs. And again, you got people behind the scenes pulling strings because although they have the same goal in mind, you got difference on opinion and how they should reach that, and that's why you have all that infighting. I was listening to brother make mention of um how well, no, it wasn't even a brother, it was that guy that got that channel Days of Noah, and he made mention of how when you go into like the committee for 300, the committee of 300, and these different think tanks, they are low level. you know Shit, I mean, the World Health Organization, at the end of the day, like a lot of this stuff, like because the people that's really running everything behind the scenes, you'll never really see. You know what I'm saying? you know you don't really see. I mean, them. You know. But yeah, that's probably about it. Well, I'll read this part. It says, while many U.S. media outlets pointed to Alpha Bank, Alpha Alpha Bank claims as proof of Trump's collusion with the Kremlin, the FBI found that the email servers in question was run by an advertising agency that sent out promotional emails for Trump's hotels, among other things. Yeah. So it says demanding reparations be paid. Trump said in a statement on Saturday that the filing provided indisputable evidence that his campaign and presidency were spied on by operatives paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign to develop a completely fabricated connection to Russia. This is a scandal for greater in scope and magnitude than Watergate, and those who were involved in and knew about this spying operation should be subject to criminal prosecution, he added, noting that there was a time when the alleged crime would have been punishable by death. Yeah, Trump be talking all the shit. And Donald Trump Jr., imagine that, yet another Trump conspiracy theory Trump was 100% right about. And you can't knock him, that's his dad. But at the same time, these is the same guys. I think that's Donald Trump Jr. was the same one that refused to actually appear in court. So you know, on one hand, can you even take the word or take this guy's? I mean, like fuck this guy's statement. What I mean? These people feel that they're in a position that they're not the average citizen. They don't have to feel that they have to obey the lands of the law, but you peons, you sheeple, they figure that they are the upper class, of society, and with all this division that has basically taken place with this whole CV-19 thing, you've seen the vision actually spread more. Matter of fact, it made me think of a scripture. I think that's in Luke 12. This is this is the book of Luke chapter 12. I'm gonna start at verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth, I tell you nay, but rather division. And when I mean, those that are familiar with it, anything in certain Bibles, when you see red letter or different scriptures in red letters, it tends to be the Most High or Yahweh Shai. Because I've saw one where you'll see it in the Old Testament where it was red lettered, Um, but the New Testament, is when Yahweh Shai is who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Actually, you know, New Testament. That's when Yahweh Shai actually is when he had his different basically when he had his ministry and whatnot. That's all mentioned in the New Testament. But So lucky not to go off topic. Saying all that to say this, that's showing you the times that we are in. Again, like I say, these devils literally. Bear with me for a second. Salakia. So, again, with all of this division taking place, what do you think that's going to do? It's going to bring these Babylonians um, against one another. It's going to lead into basically the Egyptian fighting Egyptian. And I got that on deck. This is Isaiah chapter 19. I'm going to start at verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's talking about these Edomites. I mean, 2/3 going to get caught up in this. The heathens going to get caught up in this. But this, I mean, the modern day Egyptian is this red Hebrew Edomite, you know. And because when you look at the practices that they push, their kingdom is set up based on these ancient cultures, and that's what makes this place again Babylon, because it's Esau did a diligent search going into the histories and philosophies of all these different ancient empires, and then they boiled all these different philosophies up into one place. That's why this is the most wicked kingdom of all. You know, shit. I mean, when you go into masonry, the Masonic order, like a lot of the practices they do are Egyptian. Aleister Crowley, he was offered to Egyptian, that's why I forgot the name of the deity or the entity that he's supposed to conjured up. You probably don't even need to know that name, but long story short, that this, I mean, when you go really check out him and research him, you'll see, yeah, he was all into Egyptology. And then when you go, I can't think of the name of the book, but I think it's called the Satanic Egyptian Masonic Connection. So yeah, this is modern day Egypt, but based on all this division, um, it's gonna cause it's gonna cause a lot of it's gonna make this place implode, upon itself. And that's beautiful how y'all Bashim Yahshua did it, because again, he's gonna have this devil tear down his own kingdom. Um, but unlike, I mean, because you got these devils that think that they're gonna be able to bring order out of this chaos, but in actuality, they will bring themselves into slavery. So I got one closing scripture, because at the end of the day, this is coming, like it or not, or like the brothers from Men of Valor like to say, like it or yes. This is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Verse 6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Verse 8, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. I'm skipping. Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, meaning basically uproars, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Skipping to verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And like I said, again, with all this division, with you seeing a rise in food costs, and then like I say, I mean, they showed you that with the whole pandemic. People didn't give a fuck that you couldn't work. They're showing you a lot, like based on what you witnessed with your own two eyes, how they handled this pandemic. That's why you shouldn't put your trust in man. They didn't know what the fuck they was doing. Look how they gave people that actually qualified for money and then turned around and said they owe the money back. And this ain't like I said a couple $1,000s and no shit like that. Like you've had people that got like I did a video on it. You had a lady that basically qualified for money for the unemployment money, got like 30 bands or some shit, and then they turned around and said she owed it. And like I said, so that's something that you ain't expect. And then with all these businesses closing, like it's just a lot going on. The Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua is working, and and it's beautiful. Um, Again, with all this division, it's gonna cause a lot of death. You know what I mean? Like I said, right now, like I say, you got people that's what I mean, carjackings is happening in Cleveland right now. Yeah, so you know what I mean? So that's fitting to that scripture. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, for the lack of bread. So when these prices, when the lack of goods, when food is very or more scarce than what it is, because right now it ain't completely scarce. You still can go. That's what people think little of these things because they still feel, oh, I can go to this grocery store and they see food, or I can go to McDonald's or one of these fast food restaurants and get some kind of food. Which, if you know anything at all, you will realize that that food that's called food in these fast food chains is not really food. That shit is some other shit. I remember during the pandemic, they was talking about there's a beef shortage. And I had stopped eating at rallies and all these different places because of the fact if it's a beef shortage, what the fuck is this food that y'all serving? How you serving hamburgers if it's a beef shortage? And then I remember at that time, Wendy's wasn't even selling burgers. A lot of the Wendy's didn't have burgers. They was talking about that. What's that Shake Shack or whatever that is the burger place. I think it's a chain. But long story short, I know a guy that basically he was saying how he worked there and he was like during the pandemic they had one particular kind of ground beef and then they switched up the ground beef because of I'm sure of the prices. He was like it didn't taste the same. So yeah, because all these companies are gonna resort to um, means and methods to try to stay afloat. But inflation is already here, and like I say, I made the point because I don't want to just like go to rambling. Sometimes I tend to, it be so much going on in your mind, be wondering. Salakia, Salakia again, but like I said, so I mean, prophecy is working, you know, and like I said, it may continue to work. Maybe may this be the year, because it was deemed and coined so eloquently the year of Yahweh Shem Yahushua turning up, and you see the Most High God, Yahweh Shem Yahushua turning up. Look at you don't even know how close we are to World War III. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you got Russia and China is in allegiance. So China up there, like, talking shit like way too. You know what I mean? America tried to plead with China. China's up there, got to talking shit like, hey, you for real, right? Hey, you been an asshole, a bully all this time. Now you got, and then like I say, I just know that America had to basically reposition their troops because of the fact, they talk about this 100,000 soldiers ready, like geared up, got they weaponry. So I mean, something could jump off at any day now, and Lord willingly you do. So if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole, India, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, to the statutes, and to the commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to called Law Yim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rachagadas Bakatam. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and Yakim out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Wath lababal, shalom.